Today, we're taking you on a beautiful winter adventure when we come to Michigan's central Upper Peninsula, where we're going to be traveling by snowmobile across the entire region, looking at some of the most beautiful winter attractions. You may have seen these during the summer, but in the winter they take on a whole nother look. It's going to be a really great winter show, so stay with us. Thanks for joining me on this winter episode of Great Getaways. Today we're headed to a place that symbolizes what winter season is all about, Michigan's Upper Peninsula. We are basing ourselves out of Manistee for our winter adventure. If you're like us and on a budget, you'll want to stretch your dollar as far as possible. We'd rather spend more money on gas for our sled than an expensive room at an overcrowded motel. We have found through our travels that Manistee offers the best prices on a quality room. Adding convenience because most of the motels are snowmobile trail accessible with gas and food nearby. Our adventure takes us from the top of the UP's icy shore of Lake Superior with amazing winter sights of Whitefish Point. Then we'll make stops at the beautiful frozen waterfalls along our trip. Then all the way down to Lake Michigan and the frosty beauty of Kitchitikipi, the Big Springs. And we're going to do it all on snowmobiles. The first thing we have to do is pick up some snowmobiles. There are a few places to rent sleds in the UP, and we picked Renzi Sports. We met with General Manager Josh Kish. Well, we're up here in the UP right now. We're getting ready for a snowmobile adventure. We wanted to get out. We're going to do some traveling around, but we didn't have snowmobiles. So if you're like me, you need one, you got to find a place to rent it. Well, we found the place. We're here at Renzi's Sports Shop, and we're here in Munising, and I'm with Josh Click right now, who is the manager here. And Josh, we need some sleds to go out. Have you got sleds here?
Absolutely.
What kind of sleds do you usually handle?
We handle Skidoo Polaris. We're a full-line service shop. We'll service, rent, sell parts, accessories, anything you need to get you going for a weekend or a week at a time. There's no snow anywhere else. We get a lot of traffic there. It's a favorite area for a lot of people, so even if there is snow elsewhere, we get a lot of traffic. Definitely a destination for everybody in the winter.
What about sleds? Have you got enough sleds here for everybody that comes up?
We got a lot of sleds. We stock up pretty good each year. We carry some over from each year, but definitely a lot for sale, a lot for rent. Call ahead of time. We start filling up early. February is usually the first month to go, even in like November, October. So
you mentioned too accessories because you come up with a sled like me, and you have to rent one. Well, I don't have a snowmobile suit either.
We rent the full line snowmobile suit from helmet to boots, and everything in the middle.
And you mentioned that there's usually a lot of snow in this area, but people like to travel around a little bit. You got maps and things, and can you help me in that?
Yep, we got maps. We got a few apps that we suggest to go on your smartphones that will give you maps of the area. We'll help you, guide you. We all go out and ride. We're all in this because we share the same passion, so we'll help you find the right spot for you. Okay,
guys that are coming up that have their sleds, that maybe have a breakdown, can they come in here for service?
Absolutely. We got a full shop in there and we service everything. We sell Skidoo and Polaris, but we'll service Yamaha, Arctic Cat. We'll take anything in, help you get going.
Okay, so you can see as you come up here to the UP, you want to do some sledding, they are ready for you, and they want you to come up here and enjoy it as much as they do, and that's what we're going to do now. So maybe we'll go over and take a look at the sled you're going to get for us, get everything in order, and get going.
Absolutely.
All right. Wow, everything in one place. In the winter in the UP, the dress is snowmobile suit, boots, and a hat. It doesn't matter whether you're going out to dinner or out sledding. Being warm is the primary concern. It was time to snowmobile, and our guide would be Mike Cannon. Mike was gracious enough to be our guide, so we powered up the sleds and we were on our way to our first stop, Pictured Rocks. This is a great area to sled through because it always has lots of snow. Really nice, that you can come out on your sleds, and this is such a beautiful area out here, and I know a lot of people have seen it during the summer and spring and fall when they've come out here. During the winter it's a little bit rougher. You got to come out on a snowmobile. It's a trail that does come out here. You can park in the lot and you can walk out.
Just notice how nice they groomed that trail coming in here?
Oh yeah, that was sweet.
Algiers County does that. It's groomed real smooth all the way in. It's a nice ride in on a snowmobile.
And the overlook is beautiful. It's not even beautiful, but it's just different. I like this. We haven't got a lot of ice this year. The Superior's about 50%, you figure?
Yeah, about 50 is what they're saying. You can almost
Okay.
see open water when you look way out.
I see
way
out there, and but down in here we've got big slabs of ice. We'll show you those in a second, and we got to where you can see water that's coming out of the rock formations and frozen. And as we stood here, as we walked up, an eagle just flew by in front of us, just moseying on by, probably looking for something to eat. Don't. If you got a little kid or a little dog with you or something, hold on tight. But it's a great place to come out to. Snowmobiling is a popular activity in and around the Pictured Rocks National Lakeshore. Several unplowed roads lead to major points of interest within the park, particularly Miners Castle and the Log Slide. Snowmobiles are permitted on unplowed park roads used by motorists in the summer, as well as the frozen waters of Lake Superior and Grand Sable Lake. These unplowed roads and the shoulders of the plowed park roads are open to snowmobiling in conformance with the state law. But snowmobiles are prohibited from cross-country travel and traveling on park trails in the Pictured Rocks. Tahquamenon Falls State Park encompasses close to 50,000 acres stretching over 13 miles. Most of this is undeveloped woodland without roads, buildings, or power lines. The centerpiece of the park, and the very reason for its existence, is the Tahquamenon River with its waterfalls. We've come out down the trail now where we came over to look at the falls themselves. One thing nice, the trail itself is groomed, so it's easy to walk on. You get out here, and this is one of the first overlooks that you're going to come to. And it's one of my favorite because you can look down and see the falls and see back up the river this way. Great spot to come out to. It's a short walk just to get here, so it's well worth coming out, and don't forget your camera. You can hear probably the falls right now in the background. We've come over, we've been walking around what are almost like canyon walls, and you get over here now and you go down a stairway and that'll put you right even with the falls. But keep in mind when you come over here, it's 94 steps to the bottom, so you got to go down, not too bad, coming up a little bit harder. Keep that in mind when you get out here. The Upper Falls is the largest waterfall east of the Mississippi. It has a drop of nearly 50 feet and is more than 200 feet across. A maximum flow of more than 50,000 gallons of water per second has been recorded cascading over these falls. 4 miles downstream is the Lower Falls, a series of 5 smaller falls cascading around an island. Although not as dramatic as the Upper Falls, they are equally magnificent. We come down our 94 stairs and the view down here is spectacular. Just look out here. You can see a close-up of the falls. Beautiful time of the year to be down here. The water is running, but yet there's snow everywhere. You can see the ice coming off the side of the canyon walls. Great place to come down here. You don't want to miss it in the winter. You don't want to miss it any time of the year, but winter is a special time to be here. We're getting ready now. We're going to head back up. We're going to meet up with Mike. We're going to jump on the snow machines and we're going to head for our next destination. One more stop while we were at the falls, Tahquamenon Falls Brewery and Pub. We talked to owner Lark Ludlow. We're here at Tahquamenon Falls right now. We came over on snowmobiles. We wanted to see the falls, but one of the other things that's an attraction here is the brewery. And I'm with Lark right now, and Lark is the owner-manager of brewery. You are the brewery here too. So,
Sure am.
So, why don't you tell us a little bit about the place here?
The property was acquired in 1949 by my grandfather, John Barrett, and he purchased 164 acres from a logging company at the time when the state of Michigan was formulating what is now the Tahquamenon Falls State Park. And it was only 164 acres, which he gave all but 2 to the state immedately, so that this would continue to be a pristine area enjoyed by all. And people do come here from all over the world, literally. Busiest time in the summer. Also, you're here on a beautiful winter day, and most of our visitors in the winter are snowmobilers. So business is very dependent on the snowfall, which is pretty fickle. Sometimes it's a great winter and sometimes it isn't. But we're having a good one this winter, as you'll see. We started the brewery we refurbished other pieces of the property here because things were in disrepair, but in 1990. And then at that time I lived in the Finger Lakes area of New York State, another beautiful place in the world. And I had the idea that we could have an indoor facility that people could utilize all year, and then we could be open in the winter as well. So my suggestion was to have an indoor restaurant. And oh, by the way, breweries were on a high climb, brew pubs, and I suggested that maybe I become a brewer. And actually, I'm a brewster because women in Europe are called brewsters.
Interesting.
So I was the third one to get started here in the UP. Our system is set up so that we can serve only 4 at one time, but I make many different beers. And the beers that we're serving today are listed right up here. And today I have a lumberjack lager. It's a blonde lager. I make a blueberry ale that's very popular. And I have a stout that I call a black bear stout. And I have a honey brown today. We did over 320 barrels this last year. That's a lot of beer for one place. Yeah.
You also have a restaurant here, though, too.
I do, and we're actually known for our food. The next closest location is 14 miles away. So I wanted to make this a special place where people could have foods that are indigenous to the area. So we're known for the whitefish and the whitefish dip that we make, and we pair the beers with the food. I would just describe it as a fine dining in a casual family atmosphere.
And then you got the Tahquamenon Falls, the beauty
That's
of
number
that.
one.
Wow, this gives a whole new meaning to a cold one. Well, we were ready to jump back on the sleds and get on our way to Whitefish Point. We continued to head north all the way to Lake Superior and Whitefish Point. The trail was well groomed and very scenic. The only noise you heard was from the roar of our sleds. We would occasionally stop to take in the beauty of the winter wonderland and the peace and quiet. It reminds me of a poem by Lewis Carroll and Alice in Wonderland. I wonder if the snow loves the trees and fields, that it kisses them so gently, and then it covers them up snug, you know, with a white quilt. And perhaps it says, "Go to sleep, darlings, till the summer comes again." As we arrived at Whitefish Point, I took the time to get lost in my thoughts and my surroundings. Sometimes we cuss the cold and the snow, but how can we really appreciate summer without it? Well, we made it now up to Whitefish Point. This is the first time I've been on the trail in probably 10 or 15 years. What do you mean, no?
I don't want people to know that.
Oh,
To say you're doing really well. You moved along pretty good. You were doing
you
good.
get used to it after a while, so okay.
Say you were hustling right along there.
Okay, Denny, now that the folks at home know it's been a while since we were here, I checked to see just how long it's been since the last time we were here on snowmobiles. I think I'll keep the amount of years to myself. Let's just say it's been more than 15. While I was checking for the date, I actually found the old video of that trip. It's a little smeary with age, but I think you will enjoy it. The sleds back then were a lot harder to start than today's. At least that's what I thought after pulling and pulling before I realized I didn't have the key turned on. Some things change, and some things don't. As I watch the video, it brings back some great memories of how beautiful it was, the fresh snow covering the trees, just as solemn as it was on today's trip. We took that trip on the same trail as we did this time. how things have changed. Back then, Denny rode on the back of a snowmobile carrying a huge camera and trying to shoot while going 50 miles an hour into the wind and snow blowing in his face. No GoPros attached to the sled, just Denny on the back bouncing around. We arrived at Whitefish Point, and remarkably, it didn't look a whole lot different than it does today. The tower looks the same, the grounds are a lot different now, with a lot more buildings that represent a bygone time, but the old trip looks like there's a lot more snow. And just like today, we stopped at the parking lot to enjoy the sights and silence of this incredible shore of Lake Superior. You may recognize this point behind me here. It's Whitefish Point Lighthouse. We've come out to the point. We took the trail up here. Me and Mike came around on the trail. Denny came up by the road. He made it the nice way. But we did have a lot of fun out on the trail, I got to tell you that. A beautiful trail coming up. It winds through the woods and a lot of curves, kind of narrow at times. You have to be careful out there. But boy, what did you think, Mike?
That's a beautiful trail. There's a lot of nice snow. It's good snow up there.
Yep.
It's really good. It's windy and turning. It looks like it's been groomed quite a bit, and good smooth ride.
Okay, and as you can see, they got a lot of snow up here. I don't know if you can see it piled behind here, but off over here we got snow dunes sticking up, and it's just deep snow. Just a few people that were out on the trail. I thought we might see more, but it wasn't too bad.
Very light, very light.
So, but it is getting now towards evening. The sun's starting to go down. We got to make our way back. So we're going to get on the road. But I want to tell you what, if you're looking for a trail to come up to, this is a great place to do it. What a difference from the summer and the fall, when this place is filled with tourists and vehicles lining the park. Today it was just us and the mountains of snow. Can there be a more beautiful place? Mike does more than just snowmobile these trails, he also grooms them. We took the time to talk with Mike about what it is like. With me for the last couple of days, and this guy just loves the snow, you can tell. We're standing in front of the groomer right now because Mike, you're out here grooming the trails today.
Yeah, I'm going to run from the Jack Pine here up to Shingleton. We got a lot of bridges there. I want to fill the holes in there where the bridges are from all the riding and just get it turned out. We have an average of, when I go out between here and Shingleton on a Friday, we'll pass 200 to 250 sleds on the trail.
Oh, no kidding.
So that's just in a short period, so it gets torn up pretty quick. We can go over it and it goes right back to rough again.
Well, now how many miles of trails are you guys grooming here in Schoolcraft County?
We have about 145 miles of trails with 3 groomers.
You obviously like grooming trails?
Oh, it's a lot of fun. I enjoy it. I've been snowmobiling for years, so I like getting in the groomer now. It's a lot easier on the back. You get in and you can ride along, take your jacket off, turn the heat on, the radio on, and we'll stop somewhere along the trail for dinner.
That doesn't sound too bad.
It's the best type of riding. You don't go quite as fast, but
Well, I was going to say, it's a little slow going though.
about 7 miles an hour. But
Okay, so it takes a while to get there.
slow down for the groomer. Let the groomer get stopped before you go by him. Let him get his wing up in the air. It just makes it easier. And when you're the last sled on the line, give the groomer the fist to let him know you're the last one, because you don't know what's coming around that turn. And we'll get our drag down and start going again, and all of a sudden here comes another snowmobiler. So it's really helpful if they give you the hand signals, just like you're on a snowmobile.
Okay, so we're about halfway up from Manistee up towards Whitmore, and we're here at the Jack Pine, one of the popular stops along the way for the snowmobilers or anybody coming down 94. And I think we'll go in and have some lunch. What do you think?
Sounds good.
Well, it was time to move on, and as you can see, conditions were ideal. Hearty amounts of snow tumbled from the skies throughout the morning. The plentiful snowfall meant we not only had great sledding conditions, but we would enjoy a picturesque winter landscape. The overhanging pines were laden with snow, giving the path a tunnel-like effect. With an average of 165 inches of snowfall, Schoolcraft County is a winter paradise for outdoor enthusiasts, and especially snowmobilers, since there are nearly 400 miles of groomed trails. These trails are part of more than 2,500 miles of well-marked, well-maintained pathways throughout the Upper Peninsula. From here, we would jump back on the trail and head to the Palms Book State Park, the home of Mirror of Heaven, Big Springs. Snowmobiles are not allowed in Palms Book State Park, so you could only ride as far as the parking lot. In fact, Palms Book State Park is designated as a state scenic area. No sports or other recreation is allowed. But as you will see, the trip to this remote area is one everyone should take. Okay, we're over here to Getaway right now. It is dusk. You can see it's getting dark out. We've come out on the pontoon here that takes you out into the lake itself. We're looking down on some huge fish. Now, I know that there's lake trout, brown trout, and brook trout that come in here. Judging from the size of most of these, they're probably the lake trout. Take a look at these. As we get ready to leave, we would like to show you an underwater tour of Getaway that was done by Upper Limits Media. The Native Americans called it the Mirror of Heaven, Getaway, and believe its waters held mystical powers. How else could the still waters not freeze during the legendary Upper Peninsula winters? Indian lore tells us a story of a young maiden who dove into the water. She was transformed into a beautiful white deer. Some say you can still see the outline of a white deer on the rocks under the water. Now, of course, legends aside, we know that the Big Springs, as today's locals call it, is a natural mineral spring. In fact, this big spring is Michigan's largest, over 200 feet across. Today, we were on our own to man this primitive-powered system so we could get a closer look at this ancient attraction that still inspires wonder. Close to 16,000 gallons of water per minute feed through the number of limestone fissures surrounding the basin. Yet, as you can see, the surface remains still, creating a beautiful mirror image. The ripples you see here are caused by our raft, not the spring. The water is crystal clear. An object, such as a coin, dropped into the pond can be seen falling, still easily visible some 40 feet down. One of the stops to make, no matter what time of the year, is Indian Lake State Park. When you're up here in Manistee during the winter, you're just looking for a little outing, somewhere to get out into the woods a little bit, take a little hike. Great place to go to is Indian Lake State Park. Very few people come out here in the winter. There's a nice little trail. You can see it out behind me. It cuts back through the woods, a swamp. There's a creek out here. We'll find out pretty soon whether that's open or not. I'm guessing that it is. But it's just nice. It's quiet. And it's a great place to get out for a couple hours and just enjoy the outdoors. Michigan has an incredible park system, and this is one of my favorites. It is open in the winter, but it is not plowed, so be ready to put it in four-wheel drive if you visit the park. Well, I gotta tell you, I'm a little bit surprised. I was just looking at the creek wide open, just down the trail a little ways, and I came here to the bridge where we crossed back over, and it's actually frozen across. Now, the thing you might not know, but if you look over to the side over here, you see openings, so that although there's ice on the top, underneath that is the water, and there's a gap in between that I don't know if the ice melted or how it formed, but so you've got ice, you've got open, and then you got the water. So it's really an interesting sculpture, and if you look into these areas, you can see it. The day was overcast but wonderfully dramatic. Overlooking Indian Lake, it was peaceful and there was not a sound to be heard. So different from the summer when hundreds of voices and the hum of boat motors fills the air. As I stood next to the frozen lake, I thought what a great place to be and how lucky I was to be here in so many seasons. The beauty is something that I want to capture so that I can share it with my friends. So if you'd like to see some photos of this trip, just visit our website and click on our winter photo gallery. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's show. We got out and did a lot of snowmobiling here in the central UP. Great time up here, plenty of snow. Anytime you want to come up or you need that snow, get up here into the UP, into the central UP especially, because we've got a lot of it here. Great time. If you need more information, you can go to our website at greatgetaways.tv. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.